Hi everyone, this is a lesson and kind of introductory to working with numerical expressions following order of operations. So the reason why it's called order of operations is because you're going to see combinations of numbers, but they're going to have multiple different operations. So in order to find the right answer, you have to follow an order of operation rule, and that goes with this right here. So you might remember the saying, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." So I write it like this for a reason. I'm going to go through each one. So you always solve in this order. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now notice that multiplication and division are right next to each other with an arrow pointing to the right. And I'm going to show you what that means in just a sec. P stands for anything in parentheses. Now you might have parentheses. You might have exponents. Exponents is any number, and I'm just going to write the number n, to any power, right? It could be to the first power, it could be to the second power. Multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. All right, so as long as you can remember that order, and I want you to make sure that you put the M and the D and the A and the S like that, and I'm going to show you why. You guys will be just fine. So really it's following the steps in this order, starting with number 1. Now I want to talk about number 1 because P stands for parentheses. There's going to be 3 different types of parentheses that you will see in this lesson. So if you're following along in McGraw-Hill, we are in chapter 7, lesson 2, and there's 3 different types. So there are the parentheses, the brackets, and the braces. So these are parentheses. These are brackets, and these are braces, okay? There's an order in which you do these as well. So this is first, this is second, this is third, okay? And I'm going to show you an example of having all 3. That way you guys can see a good example of what that means, okay? I know it seems like a lot, but once you solve a problem following these steps, it'll get easier and easier. So let's say we have the following equation. If I have 20 minus, and then I'm going to do these braces, 4 plus, and then bracket, 2 plus parentheses, 10 divided by, 2, brace. Okay, so I'm going to show you what's going on here. I know this looks like a lot. You're like, whoa, and I know I drew this really big. It doesn't need to be that big. But I want to show you what this is. So I have 20 minus over here. I have my braces parentheses, and in that I have a 4 plus. Then I have the bracket ones that look like the ends to a rectangle. Inside there, I have my 2 plus, and then inside my regular parentheses, I have 10 divided by 2. So let's follow these steps. Everything inside parentheses must be solved first, and inside the parentheses, you're still going to follow these or this order as well. Exponents. Okay, so go to the first type of parentheses, which is our classic parentheses, which I have right here. I'm going to solve that first. Inside, I have a 10 divided by 2. It's just one operation inside, so I can go ahead and solve it. 10 divided by 2 is 5. This is the most important part. Bring everything down with it. 20 minus braces, 4 plus, bracket, 2 plus. Now look, I already solved these parentheses, so I'm going to cross them out. And it's a now 2 plus 5 inside my box or my bracket. And that's my second step of parentheses that I need to solve. So I need to solve what's inside there, which is a 5 plus 2, which gives me a 7. Then bring everything down. 20 minus braces, 4 plus what I already solved, 7. And closed. Now these are called braces parentheses. I need to still solve what's inside there, which is a 4 plus 7, which gives me 11. And I already solved that, and I still have my 20 minus 11. Wow. Now I can just solve 20 minus 11, right? And if you need to, you can go ahead and stack it. Okay, so I need to borrow from the 2. 10 minus 1 is 9, and 1 minus 1 is 0. So our answer to this original problem is 9. Now, how do we know if we did it right? It's as long as you follow these steps. Now, what did we do? We had 3 different types of parentheses, and I had to solve what was inside these ones first, then what was inside these ones, and then what's inside these ones. So these are parentheses, brackets, braces. That's what they're called. As long as you're following what's inside those parentheses in that order, then you'll be fine. Now here's what's important. Inside each of those types of parentheses, we only had one operation. So we didn't really need to go through any of these steps. We didn't have exponents, and there was only one operation. So let me show you an example where there's going to be multiple, okay? I'm going to take it slow, step by step. Here we go. Let's say I have 5 times. I'm just going to do 2 sets of parentheses this time. Okay, what if I had the brackets, and I had 4 squared minus 2 plus regular parentheses. I'm going to do 8 plus 5 minus 1. Okay, so following order of operations. Solve whatever in the circle parentheses first. I have 8 plus 5 minus 1. That's 2 operations. Okay, so go to your addition and subtraction. If you are left with both operations and you have to solve both of them, solve them left to right. And that's why I wrote this arrow pointing from left to right. Whenever you get to something where you have 2 operations and it's an addition and a subtraction, it doesn't matter. Don't do addition first, don't do subtraction first. Whatever it is, do left to right. So that would be 8 plus 5 minus 1. Okay, so 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this is 13 minus 1, which is 12. Then bring everything down. 5 times bracket 4 squared minus 2 plus, I solved that, 12, close the brackets. Okay, so I have 1 set of parentheses left, and inside those parentheses, I have more than 1 operation. You have to go ahead and still go in this order. First thing is exponents. I have an exponent, so I want to change that and get rid of the exponent. 4 squared is the same thing as 4 times 4, which is 16. So I'm going to change that to a 16. And now I have subtraction and addition. Remember, if you have both of them, solve it left to right. 16 minus 2 is 14, and 14 plus 12 is, let's stack it and solve, is 26. So I just solved this whole thing from left to right because I had subtraction and addition, and that's what this means right here. So I solved it and I get 26. So it's 5 times what I just solved, 26. And I'm just left with one operation, which happens to be multiplication. So I'm going to stack it and solve. Let's see, 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13. My answer to this original problem is 130. All right, you guys, so those were 2 examples with multiple types of parentheses. Please be sure that you take your time and write down the steps how I did. If you ever get to a multiplication and division and you have both of those operations to solve, solve it left to right. If you're left with addition and subtraction and you need to solve both of them, solve it left to right, and you guys should be just fine. All right, you guys, be sure to check out the other videos with more examples.